Good evening, inkers and imbeciles, to another episode of I'd Rather Be Motivated with David Fleming and myself, Scott O Green, the duders behind I'dRatherBeDrawing.com. How you doing, David?
Doing great. Another beautiful Monday night. I know, right? This is kind of crazy, but staying
It's
up late.
especially beautiful now that we get to look at your shiny face for one of the first times on this show.
What happens when I
not so much now.
leave the tripod at school after filming the fun little time lapse of me signing all my books.
That was a really, really cool time lapse, by the way. We'll talk about that here shortly because that was great. That was like Jake Parker Enzian. That was wonderful.
Yes.
So speaking of which, when you're not here on Sundays or Mondays with me on I'd Rather Be Drawing's YouTube channel, where can we find you doing your thing?
You can find me doing my thing at Art of Mr. Fleming on Instagram and Mr. David Fleming on Facebook. And then there are links in all of those different places to send you to all my good stuff. Because another good place to find me right now is on my store in the link in the bio for you guys to check out the book. It is it's live. Backers should be expecting the book within the week. The book is beautiful. It looks like this. It is great. The spine looks great. I love it. It's my favorite part. I keep telling everybody how much I love that I was able to like squeeze it into the spine. The back cover is great. And let me tell you about the inside. The inside is fantastic. It is beautiful. One of my favorite things ever is this this little thing with the little TV that does the little chapter breaks. It turned out like even better than I ever imagined, and I love it. And I'm just like peering from behind the book now through the camera here. Check it out. The digital version of the book is also now available on the store NV. It is a digital flip book. It's a really cool thing that I was able to get done through the company that printed these. And so I haven't started to market that yet. It exists. I'm going to start marketing it next week, but I have a lot of international people who have been like, I want to get a copy, but I want to pay $30 to ship a $15 book. So I'm really excited about that. And oh my gosh, look at these guys.
Oh,
these are the bookmarks. They turned out like so nice.
It looks like a really nice matte finish.
Yeah, I didn't get a full gloss on them. I did like a satin.
That's nice. Where'd you get those done?
Same place, like the cat print place that I get my stuff. I just got a heavier cardstock than I usually print my prints on.
That is awesome.
Yeah, they turned
out. And look at that beautiful emblem.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. That's one of the reasons I can't wait to get back on the con circuit is to start helping brand that on stuff, because that is so cool how you incorporated that in, man.
Yeah, I've just been slapping that on like everything I make nowadays. I love it.
Heck yeah. Especially like if we do like postcards or anything like that where you really can print on both sides.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking of doing a cool like taking this and doing it like a split like across like this, like on a postcard or something, like kind of reformatting it with like all four of them on it as like a cool little like pass out thing or something.
That'd be cool.
Or like a print to stick in the books at cons. But that I printed some extra, like I was gonna make those like super limited edition and stuff like that. But what I ended up doing is printing more, because it was like printing as much as my backers were going to get, and then the price of printing basically a whole like another 50 more of them was like the same price. You know, like once you're already printing that many, you might as well just print more of them. So I'm going to sell them kind of in like little bundles and stuff when I sell it in person, like 15 for the book, 20 if you, and I got stickers too. Oh my gosh, do I have a sticker?
I love this, man. You were so pumped. You're just about to jump in and roll through your entire art check in the where can we find you?
I know, right? I just totally, yeah. All right. Well, I don't know when I put my little pack of them, but I got fun little stickers made too for really cheap, and they're freaking awesome. And I kind of like anybody who backed in the big tiers, I kind of have just been throwing stuff into those boxes because I'm just so stoked that people were even willing to give that kind of stuff. So, hey, Scott, where can we find you?
Well, hey, just here real quick, I want to say what's up to Gamer B and Ronnie in the chats. Thanks very much. I think I got a notification saying that Ronnie shared out the show, so thanks very much. And then also, Gamer B asked, how much are the bookmarks?
I didn't ever plan on selling them separate, but like I was saying, I think I'm going to make a version on the shop, or maybe just like do a deal if you message me or something. What I was going to do, like it's 15 for the book and then 20 to include a bookmark and a sticker. So just a fun little like get the extras kind of thing. But
yeah. Heck yeah. So you just got to buy the book if you want the bookmarks.
Pretty much.
Nothing wrong with that. So yeah, when I'm not here on YouTube, you can find me on Instagram quite a bit. And like David, there's a link tree in the link in bio or in my bio where it'll take you to Facebook or anywhere else where you want to find my artwork. So that's where you'll find me. Oh yeah, on that Instagram is hello, Mr. Green Draws, mr.greendraws. And then of course visit us on Facebook at I'd Rather Be Drawing. So have you got any bookmarks or plans with your stuff?
Right. Yeah, I know. I got eager on because it was like the where can you find me, and I had to mention the book. So
no, that was awesome, man. I'm happy to hear about that stuff. It's really cool, and I'm excited that you're excited. But talk in progress. Let's hear about that the signing session that you did and how you decided to kind of not just have that as a chore, but how you use that as kind of promotion.
Yeah. So actually, you made the exact comment that basically is the reason why I did what I did with that. So in the 3 Point Perspective podcast, we're both big fans of that one with Jake Parker and Will Terry, and I always forget the other guy.
Lee White.
There it is. I knew you'd know. But there was this thing that stuck with me, and it was making sure that everything you do has 3 lives. So if you're going to take the time to do the thing, then make sure that you can put it out into the world 3 times. And so I was like, okay, I have to spend however many hours sitting here and signing these books. So I should make something cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like I should turn this into content. This should be how I promote or kind of present this book. And so I had the idea. I love time lapses. I kind of have a bit of like an obsession with that of like, ooh, could I turn this into a time lapse? Like my wife's always kind of like, if you do this too much, people are gonna be like, freaking time lapses from Fleming. Like, but, but I mean,
pretty rad.
Right. Yeah. But I love them. I love time lapses because they're just like a fun little like get in, get out kind of thing that you get to make out of something that may not be interesting, And so I was like, oh yeah, what's the most boring thing about my book? Signing them. And so I did
signing them.
So I did a fun little video of me literally with all 250 books on one side of the table and then signing them and stacking them up on the opposite side of the table. So it was like a really satisfying, like you watch the stack come down and then back up on the side kind of thing.
Yeah, it really was pretty rad. And if you search those, the Instagram spot and kind of find that, you'll be able to see that for yourself because it really was actually interesting to watch.
But yeah, that was my attempt at making 3 lives out of like straight up 2 straight hours of signing those books. I was at like book 150 and I was like, oh my God, what I get myself into? But at that point I was like, I gotta commit, like this is happening. And then
were there any like special notes you had to stop and write, or did you just start off by going through and just like signing them all?
Yeah, I just went through and just did like the generic signature with the numbered thing, and then like, because like when people buy them or whatever, or like like I wanted to save the like sort of like do something else with it for I've got a book signing here next weekend and some other cool stuff coming down the pipeline, and I wanted to be able to leave that spot of just like you want me to personalize it, like that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
Because speaking of that, are we on? What are we on? We're on progress, right? Okay, I won't share that yet. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I get excited about things that I'm passionate about, as you know.
You do. Nothing wrong with that, man.
So why don't you tell me your progress, and then we can jump back, and I can speak for way too long.
Sure, man. No problem. So I'll talk more on the problems why I didn't make more headway on. When we had talked last, I wanted to really be digging into the October script, my pumpkin-headed monster Halloween character that I'm getting that project rolling again. I did, however, finally touch base with Rao, which was important to me. I just one of those silly things that I kept pushing off, and not for any good reason, but so I touched base with him, which was cool. But yeah, didn't get what I wanted to get done on the script stuff because of my problems this week. But so I was able to kind of focus on some other stuff. Last time we talked, I was working on, I don't know how well this will work. You have to let me know, David, since you can actually see this week. Can you see that very well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So that was a self-portrait I had to churn out, and I whipped it out pretty quickly, which I was happy with, and I was happy enough with the results, scanned it in, added some screen tones in the background, and then emailed it off to Mike Emirates, the editor for the book that's going to be going on to Kickstarter June 1st. That is Werewolves and Unicorns and Other Mythical Creatures, and it's an anthology that 28 other creators and myself, or 27 other creators and myself, all have four-page short stories going in that. And Mike has formatted the book beautifully, and there's a part and it's really all about the story and the content. So the creator bios are actually very short, but he did them in a very cool way. So they're stacked one on top of each other, with like a little picture of the artist or whatever you want represented, and then like a short bio. So there's a lot of folks that had really cool drawings of themselves, since we're all illustrators and everything. And I thought, what a missed opportunity if I don't do that. So I got that together and sent it off. And now I've also been using that to update my profile pics on social media and everything. So another find multiple lives for your artwork. So that was fun, and also just kind of doing a little bit more digital work. It wasn't much. I just layered in some screen tones behind and used the eraser tool. But all those things for me are hurdles and steps towards doing my own posters and coloring and all sorts of good stuff coming up. And then I was just really kind of enjoying having done that portrait type thing. And there was a really hilarious picture of a musician that popped up on his social media channel. Do you know, you're a KC guy? Have you heard of Andy Frasco?
You know, I'm a KC guy, but I'm not a music guy, unfortunately.
Yeah, no sweat. He's cool. He's cool. He does like soul music, and he really kind of throws everything into it. And he rocks the piano. He's a singer-songwriter, and he'll play soul music and funk, and just from what I hear when people go to his shows, it's a party, and it's just a really fun time. And he's a good dude. So when we're on vacation, my buddy from Kansas City turned us on to him. So when I saw that profile pic pop up, I was just in the portrait zone. So I did that and posted it on my Instagram, and then he shared it to his stories, which that's always kind of a rad pat on the back. So I thought that was cool.
I was about to ask you, did he see it? And you answered the question.
Yeah, he posted, "This is dope," or "Awesome, dude," or something like that. So I was like, hell yeah, good enough for me.
You got a dope, awesome, dude.
I know, right? I know. When he says it, I'm sure it's way cooler than when I say it. Dope, awesome sauce. I don't know. But anyway, and then being inspired by some other stuff, which will be topic of conversation here in a little bit, I also kind of did one of my sort of sketchbook title sequences. I haven't filmed anything, but just kind of getting some stuff ready for something I'd like to do on IGTV. Is that showing up very well, David? I don't know.
Yeah, it's
hard to see.
Clear.
Okay, it says read more comics. So
I'll talk about that
in the inspiration part of the show, but a little something I've been wanting to do to engage on IGTV in between, 100 days of making comic stints. And then, yeah, and then as far as progress on like a scale besides just me for that Kickstarter I was telling you about, where I'm involved with the 100s crowd, Corey Kurge has finished up. I got to tell you guys last week, telling you about visual art isn't great, but just telling you about my excitement, I hope comes through a little bit, because I told you last week, Scott Circlin, we got to see the cover. You'll all see it soon enough, but we got to see the cover, and it's beautiful. I'm really, really excited about it. And then just tonight on my way home from work, Corey Kerr uploaded for like us to see in the group his finished project for the it's like 4.5 minute film he made for Kickstarter that features all the artists in it, and it's almost like one big blooper reel or outtake in a beautiful way. And he's got animation stuff in it where pages of people's comics flip through, and I shouldn't say any more about it because it's really impressive, and I was excited to be a part of it. So more progress on something I'm a part of, but he's the one that put that together, but I get to reap the benefits. So there you go.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that, about like how you're involved with it with like a group of people, and like all the just killing myself hours I put into some of the background of the Kickstarter, and how it is a really cool thought to have like a team where everyone has their strengths, and you get to rely on each person to kind of like build a thing that is going to be good. You got a good group of artists that are all making quality stuff, and you can be like, all right, he's making the cover, he's making the video, like he's typing up the stuff. Like you don't have to be like, every single aspect of that is not just on your shoulders. That's kind of awesome.
For sure. I know Mike Emirates is probably really, really grateful to have, those people work on the covers and making the videos and everything, because although what you described is happening where people are kind of using their talents, there is also a bit of a lot of us just kind of contributed this stuff. And when they say we need a bio, you type it in and send it. When they say we need this, you get it ready and send it. But it really comes down to a small group, a small inner circle within that anthology that I think is very largely led by work going on with Michael Emirates. I know there's other people behind the scenes as well, but I know a lot of that stress and pricing stuff is really kind of going through him as well, which is yeah, it's a benefit for me to kind of be up close on a Kickstarter, but just to be able to kind of watch it from the sidelines and learn. It's pretty rad.
Yeah, that's got to be some good experience for like knowing that one day you want to do it yourself and that kind of thing. And you've kind of got to see everyone kind of do their thing with it.
Absolutely. Sorry. I will talk about it in problems, but I have been a little bit under the weather. And as I sit here and talk a lot, I'm starting to get that little itchy in my throat. So let me let you talk for a little bit, man. What problems have you kind of had to deal with this week?
Whoa. Is it it's problems? Yeah, you're right. It's problems, then it's plans, right? Yeah. I was about to like, whoa. First of all, there's two more things in the chat. Gamer B said, how much coffee did I have to have? And how come my hand not stiff up when I was filming the thing? Yeah, I was at like 240 and I almost just gave up and like threw the other ones underneath the table and made it look like I just did them.
Just transfer them over without signing them.
Like, yeah, just do this with my hand. You wouldn't have been able to tell the difference anyways. Right.
And then I'm sorry, Ace is on there and Squatchy Inc. I didn't give a shout out to those guys before either. So what's up, everybody?
Yes. Oh, and then Comic and Ace, we unsuccessfully tried to film a podcast with him in my basement one time, and I had just moved our spare mattress down, and it was like in the background of the shot, and he was like, "Nah, don't move it, leave it there."
Throw some ketchup stains on it for
exactly. So yes, enjoy my dungeon here. I don't usually film my backdrops. I don't have anything to make this look nice because I usually just film what I'm drawing kind of stuff. But anyways, problems. I would say my biggest problem is kind of what we talked about last week, which is the like keeping myself going. Like now the book is out. I have books. I'm fulfilling books, but I've got to keep the momentum going. And like there's just this feeling of sometimes you come home and you're exhausted and you kind of already know that you've sent one book out, and for me, that's a very satisfying feeling enough where I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to play some Smash Bros. Because I'm tired. And then you kind of just like move on from it. But I'd say my biggest problem is just like trying to continue to push the vibe. Because it's like I'm really good at like being in it and in the passion and just going at. But as soon as I like slow down, I feel that, it hits me pretty hard. So I've just been trying really hard not to let myself get to that zone here and kind of stay in a really good positive place with all of the like the marketing and the after stuff.
That makes good sense. It kind of reminds me a little bit of so like if I go hiking, right, and you're hiking uphill and you're getting tired, some people will stop to take a breath. To me, that's harder because once you stop, it's hard to kind of get going. I'd rather just slowly kind of keep just placing one foot in front of the other till I can kind of get my breath back and momentum up and really start killing it again. So it kind of sounds like that, which makes sense to me because it seems harder to start something when it's stopped.
Yeah, pretty much. So I've been doing pretty good this past week. Like I've been mentioning all the things I've been doing and stuff like that. But like even getting myself to just like start the shipment process and some of that stuff was pretty hard because it was like, all right, I got to sit down and I got to do this thing. Actually, we pawned the kids off onto my mom for a couple hours so I could kind of like just like knock it out and do the shipping and stuff, because there's just also that thing of like when you got kids, you get like a couple hours every day to really be like, okay, that one's in bed, that one's over there, that one's at a parent's house, that one's doing that thing. All right, let's do this. I got 2 hours. Let's get some stuff done. But with all that in mind, I have actually just started doing the cover for book 2 has started. And I am currently at school kind of at my desk, just doing out concepts and stuff for that today. So I'm hoping to post kind of maybe Wednesday, depending on how the flow goes.
I'm thinking about the time where you've got that blocked out the way you want to on that cover. you're really going to start feeling that momentum hit again, because you're going to be like, sweet, I love this cover, but I want to hurry up and finish it so I can get back to the actual story.
Yeah.
And then I think you're probably just going to be rolling.
That's also like one of my things. Me and Rao were talking about that. Like doing the cover is actually kind of a fun part of the book for me. Like that's how I my springboard to get myself started on the first book was like sitting down and like kind of like making the cover, because then it kind of feels like, all right, there's a book now. Like this can exist in a space because I sat down and I made an actual cover. So it's like, let's do this thing and let's make this into something now, because I have somewhere to put this now after I've made it all.
And that makes sense to me, because covers are fun. They're exciting. You can kind of pick the exciting part, exactly what you want to be on it. And I also think part of it is just like the very humanness of us, where starting at the beginning feels good.
Yeah.
Even if like you have to roll into other parts of it. If you're like, cool, cover, first thing you see, step one, cool, let's move on. Even if you got to go back and change it, it's like, where do I begin? The beginning.
Yeah.
Start with the cover.
Yeah, and the way I work too, like what my flow or my process looks like when I'm like building a cover is a little more like design. Like I have to draw a part of it and then like, ink that, scan that, but then there's like, okay, now there's the formatting of like it with like the words, and it's kind of like my brain's in a little different headspace than it is when I'm paneling and doing like interior story things. So it has to happen at a different point for me than the rest of the book.
Makes good sense, I think.
But I'm excited. I'm doing something a little bit different with it. I'm keeping that. Like I've got the template, which is awesome, because I kind of can just like slap that into the template of like the Analog Missions logo and stuff that I made for this one. So that's nice. But I'm gonna kind of play with the vibe of it a little more designy kind of thing with the idea, since now I really do know like kind of what I'm doing with the story and stuff like that. I'm excited. It's gonna be cool. Trust me.
I do, man. I do. Jeez, take it easy. Now, man, I'm excited to see phase 2.
Ooh, I like that. You're making me sound like I'm like a fancy like Marvel thing or something.
That's
We're
right,
in phase 2 now.
All right. So problems. I've been sick, and so that sucks.
Yeah, that's the worst.
So nothing terrible. Allergies, whether it's back home there in Missouri and the cars are turning yellow because they're getting coated with pollen, or I'm out here in the Pacific Northwest and it actually looks like it's snowing because so much cottonwood is just flying through the air everywhere you go. So yeah, and with me, it's more than just, I get allergies and then, you move on. I get allergies and it seems to kind of make me sick for a few days at least. So I end up just really getting a lot of rest. And I don't know about you guys, but when I get head cold stuff, my head is just kind of swimming and I can't figure stuff out. I'm just kind of stupid. I didn't want to like let stuff go. And that's where I worked on that title, the lettering, the read more comics thing. That was something I didn't really have to put a lot of thought into and could just kind of doodle.
Oh yeah, we could tell.
Yeah.
Right? Oh.
Thanks. You jerk. Yeah, you totally threw me, you punk. No. But yeah, so my plan was on Sunday really, before we got together for tonight, was to, since it was my day off, to really use that as my script day and go through and really work on that. But I just knew that probably wasn't going to be very fruitful. So I still want to get something done instead of just laying on the couch. So I worked on that and then watched a movie. Nope, that's more on the inspiration part. I don't want to get to it too quick. I want to get through this part so we can talk inspiration. But anyway, that was my real big problem this week, was just being sick. But it's not the worst thing. I don't have the flu, knock on wood. I think by tomorrow, the next day, I should be feeling pretty close to 100%. Still got that just sort of lagging and tired after just walking up steps sort of a thing. But I am trucking and creating and making. So no big deal. How about you? What are your plans for by the time we talk next?
All right. Well, you got to mark the calendar, right? Like it's time to talk business.
Okay. What am I marking?
So let's pop this guy up. Oh, right. We will talk one more time before all this happens, but still, the 30th of May, Phoenix Comics. You're gonna write this one down and give these guys a follow. I'll have to put this in the show notes. It's Phoenix and then Comics with an X. USA is their Instagram. They're a comic shop in Peculiar, Missouri. So that's about 40-ish minutes from where I am right now. I'm going down to their shop on Thursday to do like a live show, kind of like this, but like in person with them.
Oh, that like an interview sort of
Yeah.
thing?
Yep.
That's awesome, man. I'm really excited. You have to, you said you'll have the link down here?
Yeah, so I'll have a link that links to their Instagram, and then I will make sure that I am like in the next show and all that kind of stuff. I'll post where it's going to be and when I figure out more about that and stuff. They were talking to me a little bit about the format. Like it's going to be like me. It sounds like it's going to be like a talking heads me next to a guy like this, but like I'm going down to their shop to be with them to go live.
Very cool.
So that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. Hoping it turns into a cool opportunity for like other stuff, since they're like they said they're a comic shop and they have a huge indie wall. Like they're all kind of about that kind of thing. And so are their customers. So.
Ooh, hey, if I can get you a flyer for our Kickstarter in time, would you mind taking that with you and sort of talking up a little bit?
See what I can do about it. Yeah.
Because we're actually, we're going to have a whatchamacallit, a tier for store owners.
Yeah.
You call what have we been calling that? A what tier?
Like a wholesale kind of thing.
Yeah. So yeah, something like that. Anyway, and so we're kind of really going through and trying to like contact some shops personally and be like, hey, if you're interested in indie stuff, this is a lot of indie creators putting a lot into it. So yeah, I'm wanting to create a flyer. I don't know if it's something. Ideally, I'd like to make something cool enough that like some other people in the group might be like, hey, there's something we don't have to make and think of. Cool, send me that PDF so I can do it. But we'll see. I at least want to make something that I can hand out and distribute and kind of the ground game a little bit. I think it can help. So, but yeah, that's cool, man. Not to just totally capitalize off your opportunity, but if they're a place that really supports that indie stuff, man.
Yeah, I'll definitely. Cool. I'll throw something and be like, hey, put this on your thing and tell everybody about it. This was a local guy, like that kind of thing, because they love that kind of thing. And then the 1st of June is my signing, like book release party at Pawn and Pint. And then the following Saturday after that is a Lee Summit convention that I'll be at selling the book as well. So got lots of plans coming up in terms of just like marketing and stuff like that. So this whole week, all my posts are going to be about ordering the physical book or getting in contact with me to make that happen. And then all next week, when I'm doing all that stuff, I'm kind of just be like in a marketing of the like the PDF version, like buy it digital kind of thing. So I'm going to kind of shuffle back and forth between those things in terms of plans for like just marketing and getting stuff out there.
Sounds great, man. Sounds like you're going to have this boulder rolling downhill soon.
Oh yeah, it's rolling. I just gotta it's rolling, but it's rolling real slow. So I've been kicking it every once in a while, trying to make it go faster.
Go on, get it, Boulder.
you get no dinner.
Can't stay here. Awesome, very cool, man. Any other plans?
I think that pretty much wraps that up. It's gonna keep me pretty busy for the next, I'd say, month. Just making them, like you said, keeping the momentum going and not just like freezing and being like, cool, I made a book. All right, guys, thanks for supporting. I'll see you in a year.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
because you got to sell this book, start selling the next book, and make sure people know more is coming.
Oh yeah. And then like in between all that, I can't stop my love of just making fun illustrations and stuff like that. I did that Spider-Gwen last week because I can't not just make a fun illustration between everything.
Yeah, and that looked good too.
Oh yeah. All right, what about you, man?
So tonight at my at Creators Club, which is a weekly drawing thing I go to, which I highly suggest to anyone. An online art check is great. Also, being able to physically be with people and talk about stuff, I think is also really beneficial. And so I don't think you'll be able to see too much on this yet because it's real light pink pencil and I've barely gotten started. I know, but working on beginning a fan art series. I've been kind of thinking about that for a while. How exactly do I really want to do that? And I think I've kind of figured out format, how I want to do it, the things I want to do. And so this has kind of begun that. So by next week, I'd like to have this penciled and inked and scanned in. And then I don't know exactly what things will look like from here on out as I start to go the digital side of things and add finishing touches on prints, but we'll see. But I would like to have this first drawing done and finished. I'd also like to be where I wanted to be this week with the script. which is really have that dissected and go through and have kind of a second draft on that ready to go so I can edit it down again. On top of that, I would like to also be working on. I don't know. It's better to shoot for the stars, I guess, and come up a little short. But I have another friend who's coming in town later on this week. It's actually my brother's friend, but family friend known for many years, and excited he's coming out from Nebraska. So we'll have to kind of mix that in as well. But with everything coming up, I do want to make a flyer for the Kickstarter. So I'd like to have those 3 things done. This drawing, the flyer made, and just be feeling a lot better. Same with you with kind of getting that boulder rolling again on October. It's I definitely just sort of stopped and worked on a different boulder for a while. So I kind of feel like I'm starting from scratch, but I need to start rolling on it so I can remind myself that I am in fact not starting from scratch.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's my art check.
Right on, man. Well, I literally was saying, like, I was like, yeah, I don't know how much we'll have to talk about. I feel like I haven't done a lot of new stuff, but then like once I get going, it's always like, oh yeah, just kidding. I do way more than any human should do, and I love to share it. So
there you go. So an idea that I talked about with David, because we were thinking about having maybe a little bit of a shorter show, but you know us, we get yakking and everything, and I should probably check the chat as well. But one thing I thought about is whether on a grand level or on a micro level, just what has been inspiring David and what has been inspiring me. I had like 3 things or so in mind of just stuff that's been around me this last week or so and longer, but that has been making an impact on me. David, do you have anything ready, or since I kind of
I'll let you go, because I feel like you're in a much more of a format with it since it was totally your idea. I do have to admit that I actually kind of feel guilty because I feel like I just went to like touch my screen to like move it around, and I'm not on my touch screen. I feel like you're kind of way more in that zone right now of like having like specific artists that are inspiring you. So I kind of love to hear where you're at with it.
Yeah, the first thing I wanted to kind of pick a fellow artist. We talk a lot about artists that we love that have, that are past or that are creating, big league books right now, and all of those are awesome and everything. But sometimes looking to our left and right in the trenches and really seeing what our fellow independent creators are doing, man, it really lights a fire. You, David, seeing where you're at with this Kickstarter is pretty awesome. And all that stuff. But the person I wanted to kind of mention is Peter Palmiotti. If it's not already down there, I'm going to get a link sent to him. And it's days away, but he's going to be doing his first Kickstarter for Retro, which is an awesome sort of his version of a superhero series. And it's the updates that he's been given on that over the past. Man, it looks so good, and I'm really excited to see it. And when I have talked about on here about people like us and independent creators kind of getting together and forming our own bullpens. So I'll edit your book and you edit my book, and I'll do some penciling for you and you do a cover for me. And instead of just all these people going, yeah, good job working on your book and this is my book, and everyone kind of being separate, really kind of pulling some of those energies together to kind of see what people can do as a group. He's doing that. Peter Palmiotti is doing that. He's drafting people together, getting teams going on books, people that he's interested in or excited about their enthusiasm. He just wants them around and involved. And I've not seen any other person as involved in the art community as Peter Palmiotti. I think that's I think I can legit say that because he's in every group on Facebook that I can see, but he's not just posting his stuff. He's like creating places for other people to share their stuff, be a part of what he's doing. And I just think it's Peter Palmiotti is a big win, I think, for the art community right now, and for independent creators in general, because independent creators, I think a lot of times, like I've been saying, we feel like we're on an island by ourselves. We're independent, but he's pushing independent together. And I think that's really awesome. And I think it's going to lead to some big stuff coming out of Peter Palmiotti and the Human Art Studio and Has Comics over the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. I think that's really going to be something that people are going to be interested in and keeping an eye on. So Peter Palmiotti, you are inspiring to a lot of us, and we appreciate what you do. and keep it going, man, because it's cool to be a part of. So yeah, that's an artist that's been inspiring me, man.
I have to agree on that one too. Just before you move on from it, while it's still relevant, it was a couple weeks ago. I forgot to mention our art little check-in because I kind of blew it. But he like your comment about him just like getting people involved and stuff like that. I like joined him for one of those studio synergy talks there for one of those nights where he has a bunch of artists on and stuff. And but then I was dumb and didn't bring my charger home, and my computer died all in the middle of it, and then it wouldn't get me connected again. But it was a really cool thing to just jump on with some artists I've never met and kind of join in and kind of have a chat and stuff like that. And he makes those kinds of things happen. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, man. And he's like been in the biz. He's done, I know for sure for DC, I think he's done some Marvel work too.
Yeah, but, I think when we had him on our show, I think he had mentioned that. Yeah. Check out an earlier episode when we did one of our first arts interviews. He was our guy.
Nice plug. But yeah, man, he doesn't come off as the guy who's like, oh, I've been in the biz a while. Oh, I know what's going on. Well, let me tell you. He's just like, hey, I've got some info. If you're interested, I'll give you my info. Do you have anything I can learn from?
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty awesome. Yes, Red, you're right. Peter is awesome. And in fact, I'm trying not to cough here too much, but Red won a thing with Peter Palmiotti where he's starting an art channel. Are you voguing? Dude's voguing. I'm trying to talk here. He's voguing.
I like snapped my fingers and then I just kind of got in the zone there. Just like,
yeah, whatever.
This is why I don't show my face because I can't. I'm just sitting here the whole time.
It's so damn distracting. No, it's a small picture to everybody else, but to me, it's a big dumb face.
Right. Yeah, I'm just like in the corner, but you're like, dude.
I'm sorry, Red. I was right in the middle of plugging your thing. Type on there for me which channel that's on, or put a link if you can where they can find that vid, because Peter started a YouTube channel where it features kind of how-to tutorials or things of that nature from a lot of different artists, and he has begun that process. And Red, Ronnie Gunter, in the chat there, is the person whose video is chosen to kind of be the flagship starter of that series, which I think is pretty BA, because Red, you're awesome too, dude. So if you get a chance, Red, throw in there where people can find that. That way I can shout it out here. But yeah, man, that's been who's inspiring me. The other two things I want to talk about were just like a documentary I watched and then a podcast I've been listening to. Is there anything in any of those realms or comics you've been checking out or anything that comes to mind for you, David?
Yeah, actually, I feel a little embarrassed that I don't have like an awesome artist to mention, because like that's my homework, is to bring one for next time, because I really do. Like I've been building some really fun relationships with some artists and stuff on Instagram lately. Like I've been taking the advice we gave in some past shows seriously, of like engaging with artists for the sake of actually engaging in them, like their fellow artists and creators and friends and stuff, and not just like comment back on my stuff kind of like engagement. So I definitely think if I, not off the top of my head, but I definitely know I've got someone. But honestly, I finally finished the book, and it was just fine. I finally had time to start watching shows again and just doing that kind of thing. I'm a Game of Thrones fan, so that series just ended, and it was pretty cool. It wasn't the perfect series, but it just, every time I finish a good series and it comes to an ending, I kind of put that in my bank, and I'm like, okay, what did I enjoy and what didn't I enjoy, and what can I use for later, and stuff like that is really cool. So I am watching an anime right now called Dororo. So it's Drororo.
Wait, can you say that one more time?
Dororo.
Dororo.
I just wanted to say it like super, super American so you can understand it, but it's super cool. It's a samurai thing where it's like the guy made a pact with the demons to like take his firstborn son, but he kind of like did it on purpose. He was like, yeah, I know what you're going to take. And he was just like, had his first son. I was like, okay, cool. Have my second son. Like he kind of, instead of it being like a, no, my kid, it was like, yeah, I know. All right, take him. All right, move on kind of thing.
Wow.
But the kid ends up like living and having no limbs and no skin. And it's kind of really creepy. But every time
it's pretty creepy.
This like guy makes like a bunch of prosthetics for it, and every time he like slays a demon, he grows back his like skin and limbs and stuff, because like the demons like literally like stole his body basically so they could live amongst the humans kind of thing. super awesome, really gnarly, has some tropes and things that I'm actually planning on writing into some of my stories. So I've been rewatching a few episodes and kind of making notes of it because I was like, that's exactly how I wanted that to play out with my stuff. So it's been a good one to watch because I love samurai, and anything like that with that like culture is awesome.
Awesome, man. That's exactly the stuff I'm talking about. And I'm not being a smart aleck here. I am really wondering, you can say it again if you want, but can you spell it again so I can write it
it's
down?
just DRORORO.
So if I just throw a bunch of DROs in there,
totally.
It'll pop up. Okay, good to know. Awesome, man. My next little bit of inspiration has to do with my read more comics thing that I made, and has to do a little bit with the inspiration from people like Peter, who are trying to they're not just trying to further their own careers, they're trying to strengthen the comic community. Along with that, you've been hearing me mention a few times in recent memory, Cartoonist Kayfabe, which is right here on YouTube. And I guess you can also find you're freaking me out again, Fleming. I'm going to start doing that crap to you.
You were really holding on to it, though. I have to give you props for that one. I was just
I don't notice it for a second, and then it just derails me. Anyway, Cartoonist Kayfabe with Ed Pisker and Jim Rugg. And they're both extremely talented cartoonists, and they both have been in love with the comic medium since they were very young. And it's been a huge part of their lives. And I've kind of taken to calling them the professors because they really are giving a unique education in comics, like talking about like these are the cartoonists you should know about and learn your history about these people, because if you like Frank Miller because he influenced these people, then these are the people that influenced Frank Miller. And their kind of battle cry or marching orders at the end of every show is read more comics. And I love that. And it's a simple thing, but I think it's easy for us artists who are making comics, and not exactly a problem, but we don't just want to read other comics. We want to be inspired by animes and TV shows and walking out in life and talking to that guy on the street and all that stuff. But I do think it's important to be digging into your history, seeing what's going on kind of right now in cartooning and comics. And whether you're a passive person who's not a creator, I firmly believe that there's a comic book out there for everybody right now. Comic books is not just Western superheroes. It's everything under the sun. Even within those Western superheroes, there's a lot of different stories to tell. But really, there's a comic out there that your grandmother would love. I guarantee you. And hopefully with little shows like what I'm wanting to do on Instagram, on IGTV, is just to kind of quickly show the little things that I've been getting and that have been inspiring me. And when I go digging in comic boxes or able to find a sale where graphic novels are half off, so I pick up a few, just sort of share that with people, and also to make sure I'm keeping myself literate in both the history and where comics is going, because I think it's really, really important for artists. And I want all of these people who don't know yet that there's a comic out there for them, that there is, because everyone is loving the Marvel movies and John Wick and all of this other stuff that is wonderful. I don't know. I don't think John Wick is specifically based off a comic, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was.
Right.
But there's just all this inspiration out there right now that is coming from comics, and comics are awesome, man. And I think everyone needs to check them out and see where the roots of a lot of our entertainment these days is coming from. So anyway, Cartoonist Kayfabe, those guys, you should really check it out, because they're inspiring me, and and Peter's inspiring me to take these things that they're talking about and see in my little corner pocket over here in the art community if I can, add something to it. So that's been kind of fun, and also to create some more content, which is important as well when we're doing what we do. So thank you, Cartoonist Kayfabe. I am a Kayfaber. I need to get a t-shirt.
Yep. I'm a Kayfaber.
Have you watched it yet, man? I know I've been talking.
I finally added him to my list of stuff. Like I've got him queued up. It just hasn't gotten through the other stuff I had before him, kind of thing.
I totally understand, but I guarantee you're really gonna like those dudes. They have different shows, and they release like multiple shows a week generally, One is like what we do, where it's their weekly shoot, where they just get together and talk shop on where they're at and what they're doing, kind of same art check-in thing. There's also ones where they like highlight books that they love. They've gone through the entire Akira series, I believe, and they just released the last of the Dark Knight series from Frank Miller, where they really kind of go under it with a microscope and not like exactly page by page, but they're going over it and talking about things that aren't just Wikipedia entries. You know, they're talking about their context of when they read it, what it means now, them as literate cartoonists, why it's a special piece of art. It's not just like people love comics, give it to you and go, here, check it out. And you're like, cool, but what if they're like talking about why this coloring is important and why this line art is important and why the people are making these decisions. And so I'm very thankful for cartoonist kayfabe.
Our Akira is my jam, so
and I guess as in 2018, it was like the 30th, 40th anniversary.
Yeah, it was like a big cool.
Oh wait,
did some cool stuff there.
No, I think it was that the story was projected into the future in 2018 or something like that.
No, yeah, that's what it was. It was the date of the thing. Yeah.
And I was talking with people at the Creators Club tonight about it, and I want to check it out. Over friends' shoulders in college, I watched, the movie Akira, and it was really awesome to see. And as you're watching it, people are like, see, this is why it's awesome, and they point out things, and I always think that's interesting.
It's kind of, that movie is attributed as kind of being the, like, first sort of, like, popular in America, like anime kind of film, kind of like it's like what brought the fad that first hit us, kind of was from that movie.
Gotcha. That makes good sense because, you hear a lot of people talk about it, but I kind of asked the creator group tonight in a nutshell if you had to say why this is a beautiful piece, why it's an important piece. Some of them had some interesting stuff to say, but Ash, a really cool artist there, he said it was just you get to view a piece of art that an extremely talented person has poured every bit of themselves into, their heart, their soul, their everything. And it's worked out to be kind of, in his opinion, one of the like most perfect sort of works of comics. So yeah, I'm gonna have to check out that thing. I guess it's just like books full. So
oh yeah, the mangas are long.
I know it's an undertaking, so
but it's definitely worth it.
So yeah, man, all that education, learning about stuff that has been outside of my scope for many years. I didn't grow up with a bunch of friends who were totally into comics. I was kind of the only one who drew, and they were into sports, and I was into comics, and it is what it is. So I kind of feel like I'm catching up for lost time with shows like Cartoonist Kayfabe, really kind of giving you if you want to know about stuff, go look at this stuff. It's pretty cool, man.
It does feel like there needs to be a place where you find the definitive list of the gnarly stuff to check out.
And they're all over the place with it. They love all of it. They'll talk about Bone. They'll talk about Akira. They'll talk about R. Crumb. They'll talk about Tilly Walden. They're really all over the place talking about awesome stuff. Hey, Tim. Somebody in the chat, they just said, sup, bro? Still saying hey. Hey, Ronnie, I saw your comment that said, here's the link. But I don't think I ever saw the actual link. Maybe he's...
I think the chat stops you from posting a link. You have to like post the link and then like just like take out like one letter and then like have everybody put it back in basically when they go to find it.
Gotcha. Did you hear that, Ronnie? If you can just sort of even say, and I can just sort of tell it to people. And
maybe copy and paste half of it and then hit enter and then copy and paste the other half of it, kind of thing. I think there's a thing about putting links in the chat. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure that's real.
Tim said he's doing good, doing some client work. Keep at it, brother. Got to keep grinding, right? I was talking to somebody here recently about the idea of side hustles and everything. We were talking about side hustles for money and everything. And then we kind of came around to that we feel like our 9-to-5 jobs are really our side hustles. The working on the art and all that stuff, even if it's not making us the mainstream money now, the side hustle is that 9-to-5er. So anyway. Man, we've been kind of talking a while, and I went into depth on those two things, and anything else I don't mind saving for later. Anything you're looking to talk about, David? Anything on your mind?
What?
Anything on your mind?
No, honestly, I think we pretty much said it all.
Show those back up again because I was talking the whole time you were showing them anyway.
Yeah, I was just, I'm in kind of a, I'm extremely tired. And when I get that way, I kind of get real, like, kind of,
Pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's the word for it. That's the word my students would use.
Excuse me, Mr. Pain in the Ass, Fleming?
Yeah. What you called? Yes. It's one of my many nicknames. That and Flem Dog, so.
All right. Well, Flem Dog, is there anything else that you want? I don't want to end it if you had anything else in mind, man.
No, honestly, I really think so. Here's my should we put up our doodles for the night?
Ooh, excellent.
I've been working on this little series of Cowboy Bebop characters. I want to do a fun little print of them, but I kind of had the idea of doing them as like little small dudes because I like doing the small little 5x7s, and then I'll crop them together to make like a full poster later.
Yeah, I think the format I've decided for my fan art, I've done a lot on just the comic backer boards.
Oh, yeah.
And they actually hold up pretty well with the ink and then doing washes and stuff like that. So as far as the originals, I think I'm just going to do them all on the comic backing board so that they're all kind of the same size. And then, they already kind of come with a built-in sleeve thing, to display them. And they already fit in people's long boxes if they don't have room on their wall quite yet. So, yeah, I kind of get yapping. I still have a little bit of a hard time talking and drawing at the same time. But if you can see here, it's the Gorillas, the band the Gorillas around.
Yes.
And then Phone Bone is going to be right in the middle looking like, who are these bunch of weirdos?
I kind of love that.
So that's going to kind of be the theme of my fan art is going to kind of be crossovers. So I take two things that I love and put them together. Not so much mashup, more like Flintstones meets the Jetsons.
I like that.
So because I've always loved that sort of stuff. The Avengers versus the X-Men, Superman versus Muhammad Ali.
TMNT Usagi.
Yup. Apparently. All right, man. Where can people find Analog Missions now that you've got all those beautiful books with the beautiful binding ready to go with bookmarks and all?
I think people do this, right? This is like a YouTube thing. If you look beneath the video, right there, I've already uploaded a link straight to the Store Envy shop, so you can check it out. Like I said, there are two. It's not going to work on me. I teach.
It just worked.
Students. You can check out the physical copy and the digital copy on my Store Envy. You can check out all my beautiful prints on the Store Envy as well, and just keep up with that. I'm gonna just jump right into issue 2. I've got a client who wants me to do something in a couple months, but he's not quite ready for me. So I told him I'm just gonna resume progress on the personal project then, and you can interrupt me whenever. But like I've been telling some of the other fans and the people have been asking, my goal is every year about the same time I've just fulfilled a Kickstarter and I'm moving on to the next book. So 50 pages or more every year for a nice little floppy book, because I want to get past the floppy. Like this was a dream or a goal of mine, like that I would make an actual book, like that the thing would feel nice and it'd have a good thickness to it. It's not just like a floppy one and done kind of thing. So
you want a hardcover now, don't you?
I do. So this guy, once he's collected into 3, it'll be 150. I have a cool idea for like the bonus 50 pages to make it about 200 pages. And that's when I'm going to start thinking hardcover, or at least, I don't know if you've ever seen this, because we've been talking about the manga thing. A lot of mangas do a collected volume and then it's like bigger, like go like 6x9, kind of like bigger sized kind of thing,
okay.
But then still in kind of like the perfect bound kind of thing. So it's gonna be one of
Ed Piscord, man, you're gonna love Jim Rugg and Ed Piscord, man, because they talk about all that stuff too, the ins and outs of making books and slip cases and boxes, and they just like they're in love with every aspect of it, man, and they talk about every aspect of it. And Jim Rugg, Ed Piscord, he's doing the X-Men Grand Design right now.
Yeah, I love that.
And Hip Hop Family Tree did the same thing, where he had them all in like regular comic size, and then when they went to the hardcovers, just like you're describing, they're like bigger books and everything, like studio editions or whatever. I love it, man. I'm Scott O Green. When I'm not here with David Fleming, you'll find me on Instagram at Mr. Green Draws, mr.greendraws on Instagram, and there in my link tree. You can go buy my comics. You can go to the other spots to support me there, or support I'd Rather Be Drawing on Facebook, or go to the .com and read some free comics there, because we do have some good ones there.
And
everybody in the chat, Tim, Red, Ace, Matthew. Damn it, Matthew, I miss you. I'm sorry. What's up, brother? Gamer B, Squatchy. Man, we had a really good turnout for a Monday night. Man, we ought to just start doing Monday nights, man. We had a bunch of people.
Yeah, I've noticed that. There's even like a random person who jumped in and their comment deleted and then they pieced out. So maybe we're just that boring and they were like over it. But
did we almost get a troll? Damn.
Yeah, I think we almost got a troll.
We're moving up in the world, brother.
Spam our posts.
But really awesome you guys stopped by to say hey. It's always appreciated. And yeah, man, thank you guys for joining us. Any other sign-offs, Mr. Fleming?
No, I don't have it. Like my sign-off is just staring directly into the camera until someone hits stop broadcast. But I have that power, so.
Okay, let's get a good 5-second stare. But you have to say something first or else it'll just be focused on me.
Oh, right. 5-second stare. All right, guys.
All right, long enough.
We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening. Peace.